trying to learn Mr. Tolkien's Elvish languages can be confusing at times. That's why I decided to make a little guide that can help you understand where you are with your learning and the next steps you can take. And this is it. I would guess that most people become interested in learning more about Elvish after watching or rewatching the movies or reading the books for the first time. Any books from the Legendarium, really. And it may be quite overwhelming. You have a few different languages, each one with a different history and references both to the fictional world of The Lord of the Rings and to real languages like Welsh or Finnish or Latin even, in some ways. What you gotta understand at this point is that Mr. Tolkien started his mythology with languages. They truly are the driving force behind all of the stories that we love. They're not just alphabets or random words devoid of meaning. That's why you can forget about all of the references to real languages or the history of Middle-earth, because everything starts with languages. However, if you are at this stage right now and you're really interested in the theory behind Mr. Tolkien's languages, I recommend checking out the site Ardalambion, created by Mr. Faustkanger. There, you'll find everything you're looking for to start your journey. I'll leave all the sources that I mentioned in this video in the description. The one thing that you have to know is this. There are currently two widely known Elvish languages created by Mr. Tolkien and expanded by the community. Quenya, a more formal language spoken by the High Elves, and Sindarin, a more casual language spoken by almost all elves, for example by Legolas himself. Now, creating a language from scratch is no easy feat, and while Mr. Tolkien established a backstory, a wide vocabulary, and most grammar rules for these languages, you can never be truly fluent with just the words he created himself. That's why I said that these languages have been expanded by the community, including some experts. Usually, we call these expanded versions of languages Neo-Quenya or Neo-Sindarin. Right now, you have to choose if you'd like to follow purely Mr. Tolkien's vision and avoid any words and grammatical rules created after his passing, with the understanding that your vocabulary will be limited, or if you're open to learning everything there is to learn, including things that may not have been Mr. Tolkien's intention. Also, if you want to start learning either of these languages, well, you have to pick one that you'd like to start with, of course. It can depend on which characters from the Legendarium you like more. For example, if you empathize with Galadriel more than Legolas, you may want to start to learn Quenya. But of course, it goes deeper than that. After reading the first source that I provided, you should have an idea of which language you prefer. Of course, take as much time as you need to decide, and you can always come back to the other one at any point in the future. If you'd like to learn more about the possible fluency you can achieve in either of these languages, I recommend watching my video on the topic. The link should pop up in the card right now. Throughout your entire learning journey, you're going to need a solid dictionary to translate phrases and learn grammatical changes. The best one I know is called Parv et Helen, but it's way more than just a simple dictionary. It's an entire community of like-minded learners. There are discussions, fun phrases, even in other languages from the Legendarium, and also games. And the dictionary part of the website is simply amazing. It provides the distinction between original words and Neo-Quenya or Neo-Sindarin. It sometimes shows you how words evolved over time and the grammatical rules behind them. It's an incredible tool that can help you at any stage of the journey. Link in the description. Grammar was very important for Mr. Tolkien. That's why most of the rules that exist within Sindarin or Quenya today come straight from his works. I like to learn grammar from various sources just to confirm the information. I mean, it just takes a single typo by the author of a website to cause confusion. Some of the sites that I find reliable are number 1, Tolkien Gateway, which has full articles on grammar. Number 2, Eldamo, which is a bit more bare bones, but has great info. And number 3, even Wikipedia in some cases can help you understand things more clearly. But of course, we shouldn't rely just on Wikipedia. Also, there's some helpful information on the sites I already mentioned, Ardalambion and Parv et Helen. And if you want to learn Sindarin, there's a 456-page long book by David Salo, the linguist who helped Peter Jackson expand Sindarin for the Lord of the Rings movies, called A Gateway to Sindarin. You can find it on Amazon, for example, and although I've never read it myself, I think it can be a perfect resource if you are inspired by the movies to learn Sindarin. Finally, I think this is a great place to mention the most important resource of all, the original Tolkien works, and most importantly, the appendices. That's where Mr. Tolkien put a lot of the details when it comes to Elvish languages. But even in the main novels, there are Elvish songs, poems, names, etc. that you can use as a sort of test of your understanding of Elvish. Again, you won't be fluent just by studying the original works, but it is the purest resource there is. I know some people prefer jumping into a foreign language without learning its unique alphabet first, if the language has one, of course, so I decided to put this chapter here. But yeah, Mr. Tolkien created an original writing system called Tengwar that he used for many of his constructed languages, such as Quenya and Sindarin, but also Black speech, for example. He even used it for English. Fun fact, yeah. The most important thing to note here is that the rules of Tengwar vary slightly between the languages. There are different so-called modes, which may differ in writing direction and symbols that are used. If you keep this in mind, you can learn Tengwar from basically any reputable source. I even made a video where I tried learning Tengwar in 24 hours, and I made a lot of progress. I'll also put it in the card right now. So don't be scared, you can make a lot of progress in a very short amount of time. Just pick what you want, what language, what mode, and go all out for a day or two. It's a very rewarding experience that allows you to read, or at least vocalize, every text written in Sindarin or Quenya that, right now, may seem as just a bunch of squiggly lines. So I definitely recommend trying to learn it. The two trilogies by Peter Jackson are a great resource for hearing the correct pronunciation of Elvish words. Especially, I feel like the Hobbit movies really made a point to make elves use Elvish languages as much as they could. There are many compilations of scenes where Elvish is spoken in the movies on YouTube. But a new thing I've discovered that changes everything for those of you who want to learn Quenya are videos made by the creator of the site Ardalambion. He speaks Quenya throughout the videos while explaining what Quenya is. It really changes the game when it comes to learning this language, as you can familiarize yourself with the sound and the theory of the language at the same time. Huge recommendation, and as always, link in the description. Now, you have these resources, you know all the aspects and the reality of learning either Sindarin or Quenya, and you may have even started. But how do you bring all those elements together? I see two possible paths depending on your style of learning. The first one is creating a routine, learning vocabulary and using it in real-life scenarios on Monday, writing in Tengwar on Wednesday, watching videos and movies on Friday, and so on. Just adding topics when you want to learn them, or removing topics after you're done with them, or in the case of vocabulary, where you can never really be done with it, just taking breaks from time to time and focusing on something different. The second one is just picking an incredible resource, like, for example, the book by Mr. Salo, and exhausting it to completion, one thing at a time. Sure, you won't know how to read phrases written in Tengwar, but who cares? You can always come back to it later. Then you move on to different sites like Ardalambion, then videos, then original works by Mr. Tolkien, and so on. I know there's a lot to learn, so definitely pick the learning style that suits you the most, even one that's totally different from either of these. I just basically wanted to show you all of the things you need to take into consideration. Now, let me mention the thing I love the most in learning languages, which is mnemonics, and specifically associations. I've made many of them in my Elvish series, so you can watch that if you also find them helpful, and if you'd like to learn the vocabulary and phrases through videos. And that's basically it. I just wanted to make this video to put all the information I've acquired and even shared in a few different places in a single spot. Of course, I'm not a professional in any of the languages, I'm just a hobbyist, but that's exactly why I want to show you some of the finest, most professional resources there are, such as Mr. Salow's book and Mr. Fausganger's videos. Wherever your journey takes you, I'm sure it will be unexpected, but I wish you a lot of perseverance and the drive to get to a stage where you can communicate in Elvish. Not many people in history have done it, so it would be an incredible achievement. So for now, good luck and na Maria.